Okay, but getting back to what happened a couple of weeks ago, some of you may have noticed going to our webpage, instead of going to 2600.com, it went to a gay porn video. And I just would like to take the opportunity to point out that we had nothing at all to do with that. And, in fact, it was a grievous security flaw that was basically taken advantage of. And that grievous security flaw was the fault of Network Solutions, known as NetSol. Is that their official name now? Is it not NSI? They keep changing their name.
Well, I think their official name is Network Solutions.
Yeah, but beware of a company that keeps going by all different names because you never know who to blame. But basically what happened was, okay, I'll just say three letters and you'll know immediately. IRC, all right, Internet Relay Chat. People get into all sorts of matches of various how stupid can I possibly be? And apparently that happened. Somebody got angry and said, okay, that's it. I'm going to come after the domain that hosts this IRC network, the irc.2600.net network. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of good people on that network.
They didn't even get the right domain.
Well, that's the thing. They went after 2600.com. Yeah, they should have gone after 2600.net. It's us anyway, but regardless. What they did was they contacted Network Solutions. I haven't been able to find out exactly how they did this, but they contacted them, and according to what we've been able to find out so far, they were able to change. Okay, just to clarify, when you make a change to a domain being anything like, well, WBAI.org or 2600.com or whitehouse.gov, those are all domains. Now, in order for you to make a change, point the domain somewhere else to a different computer, you have to prove that you're you, that you have the right to do that. Now, you need a password, you need an account, you need some way of verifying that you're the right person. So this joker called up Network Solutions, knowing that they weren't the right person, and said, they might as well have said, I'm not the right person. Can you please change the challenge question? Now, the challenge question is something that if you forget your password, you're asked a question, and you answer the question the right way, and the computer says, oh, he got the question right, so he must be the right person. I'm going to send him a new password now, and we can start over again. Now, they didn't know the challenge answer either, so they changed either the challenge question or the challenge answer. I'm not sure. Some bozo over at Network Solutions allowed them to do this. Once they were able to do that, they were able to get in and change the owner of the network of the domain and where it pointed to. So what they were able to do was point our domain to a different place. Now, that's where the fun begins. I was in Brazil at the time. I just arrived. I'd just gotten off the plane. Literally, I was being driven to a hotel when Mike called me. And what were the words you said, Mike?
Something like, hey, are you aware that the domain's been stolen?
Yeah, and I wasn't aware of that. I was actually quite unaware. And I said, oh, really? Or words to that effect. And then you got on the phone to Network Solutions, I believe. What happened from there?
Well, I called them, and one of the interesting things about this is I just called sort of very angrily and said, I want this fixed. It's clear that this has been redirected to pornography, which is not what we normally have on our website.
Not normally, no.
Yeah, put it back, please. And they originally told me that it would take 24 to 48 hours for an investigation to take place.
That takes 48 hours. It takes a second to actually get the thing to move over to gay porn, but 48 hours to fix it.
Yeah, I advised that was sort of a little bit long, in our opinion.
Yeah.
And they eventually decided that they could look into it within an hour or two, which is still not that fast, but much better.
I demand instant satisfaction as far as this kind of thing goes. Okay, so then you contacted me, I guess, and said that that's the situation as it stands now?
Yeah, and eventually someone sort of competent at Network Solutions. Well, first what they did...
You're skipping something.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
First what they did is they put it on this sort of under construction page.
Yeah, they did take the porn off.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, we still had a situation where our mail wasn't getting to us because 2600.com was going someplace else. And we also were concerned that people might be trying to log into us and going to a different machine and sending their passwords to that other machine. That was a big concern as well. We had to have everybody change passwords, and it was affected at the time. But what happened was I was on the phone with somebody else, actually. We were three-waying to Network Solutions. They connected me from the States, and I was there in Brazil. And I got this guy at Network Solutions who basically, as soon as he heard that I was in Brazil, decided that I was the one that was up to something because it didn't correlate to what should be happening. Oh, you're in Brazil. Oh, really? So you want to change the domain? And I don't know why he didn't believe it was me. I know he wanted to send me email. Now, my email address is at 2600.com. That domain was not going someplace else. So how could he send me email to verify my identity if I wasn't going to get the email? The other person was going to get that. He didn't seem to understand that. Then he didn't believe that it was me because I couldn't receive a phone call on, get this, the number that you, Mike, had called from only a few minutes earlier.
Well, I provided them with my phone number.
Yeah, and somehow that number became the number that you had to call from to prove that you were me, even though we had never called from that number before.
This is what's especially odd. I never proved that I work with 2600. I just called up and screamed. I could have been anyone, I suppose. So if you ever do redirect your website to pornography, anyone else can redirect it back. It's a very strange system.
It really was. And in the end, it got fixed. You found that competent person. They fixed it. It still took a couple of days for it to propagate through all the...
Well, they did screw up a bit because they changed the domain name servers back, but they didn't change the address of the name server, which is false.2600.com.
Yes.
So that was screwed up for an extra day, and at some point, my cell phone number made its way into Whois, which is not supposed to happen, and it's very strange.
I mean, this is what these people do for a living. How they get this so wrong? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm very disappointed and upset with the people that actually did this, the people that instigated it. Okay, but the people who really should know better, they're the ones running this. These are the people we pay, and you know what the crazy thing is? I think our account is locked. They call this some kind of a security lock to prevent this from happening again, and we can't leave Network Solutions. We can't go to another company, which is what I'd really like to do now. So be careful, folks. You never know who's protecting your private information and your domains.